Yesterday I only referred to the second part of the story with Herod in chapter 2. We're going to read the rest of it this morning, so from 13 and onwards. When they had gone, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. "Get up," he said, "take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt. Stay there until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to kill him." So he got up and took the child and his mother during the night and left for Egypt, where he stayed until the death of Herod, and so fulfilled what the Lord had said through the prophet, "Out of Egypt I call my son." When Herod realized that he had been outwitted by the Magi, he was furious, and he gave orders to kill all the boys in Bethlehem and its vicinity who were 2 years old and under, in accordance with the time he had learned from the Magi. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. A few years ago, there was a lot in the news about refugees and immigrants, particularly illegal immigrants. There was a lot around those fleeing across the Mediterranean Sea, as well as Trump building the wall between Mexico and America. They were pretty contentious issues, as everyone involved seemed to have very strong and differing opinions. But what amazed me was the differing opinions even between the Christians. There was huge support for Trump from the Christian evangelical community in America. Many saw him as the answer to prayer, as he tightened restrictions for people getting into America and made moves to remove illegal immigrants at whatever cost. He was going to make America great again. Then there were the other Christians who felt differently. They saw Trump as inwardly focused, when they felt that that went against Jesus, who was outward focused, inclusive, welcoming the unwelcomed. These Christians did not rejoice at the wall, feeling that it went against Jesus' instruction to include and to love thy neighbor. But I also remember seeing a cartoon at the time which really made me think. I couldn't find it when preparing for this message, but I did find other ones which were very similar. Simple pictures which highlighted the hypocrisy because Jesus had been a refugee. His family had fled to Egypt, a foreign land, to get away from the authorities who were committing senseless crimes and killings. But before Jesus, the Israelites had gone to Egypt as refugees. Remember the story of Joseph, where they went to Egypt in search of food, and that's where they met their brother. And from that we read the verses like Leviticus 19 verse 34, which say, "The foreigner residing among you must be treated as a native born. Love them as yourself, for you were foreigners in Egypt. I am the Lord your God." It's so easy to point fingers at America and say that they have not done well. They have not loved as God asked them to love, as they have excluded and refused to share their incredible wealth. We might even be able to bring that message a little closer to home and apply it to our country. We know that xenophobia is real. Foreigners are not always welcome here. We see their shops are burnt, they're called names, we don't want our children to mingle with them. We might be willing to acknowledge that we don't do very well as a country in that regard. Again, it's easy to point fingers when it's beyond us, outside the school walls. But how well do we apply Jesus' command to love one another as he has loved us, recognizing that he loved us really well, regardless of our flaws? At school, how well do we love those who struggle in classes that we find easy? Do we make them feel welcome? Do we take care not to intimidate them? How well do we love our neighbors who don't have the latest cell phone? Do we point it out all the time to them? How well do we love our neighbors by respecting their stuff? Or do we feel like we're entitled to use, borrow, steal, loot from them just because we don't have? How well do we love those who are shy, or have a different sense of humor, or who study too much, or who look differently? We see that Christ was taken in as a refugee, and we need to make sure that we don't think we're better than Christ. We need to make sure that we treat everyone we meet with love and dignity and care. Amen.